Alright, what's going on, everybody? So this is going to be a video. This is going to be a part 2. Why do people early extend? What are some of the ways that we can start to minimize it? How can we combat it? And how can we get better at it? So if you haven't checked out, I have a video. Link is in the description down below. Understanding setup. Please check that out. Let me know what you think. It's a free video for everybody. Also, if you haven't watched my last video on part 1 of early extension, and we talk about how the setup and how we present the spine from a counterbalance standpoint can help us minimize, maybe not completely fix, but it gets us in the right direction of how we can start to understand why we'd early extend and how we can start to combat that. So this is going to be part number 2. Why do people early extend, and what are some of the ways that we can work on being able to fix it? So, number one thing to understand, inside of a golf swing, we all have to live inside of what I would call basic law of motion. So like a basic law of motion, I like referring to this as a pendulum. So right here, we would have mass that starts acceleration, so the club would work up, and it works back down. And what you'll notice up here is it actually slows down right here before it starts to change direction. In a golf swing, we would call that a transition speed. That's what I like to refer to that as. So when I see players that struggle with actually pulling down or standing up, early extending, here is one of the reasons why. So when we get into our setup, this person can have the best looking backswing on planet Earth. If we move this back way too slow, let's say I move it back at this pace, and then I try and go fast, what ends up happening is this becomes a balance loss. So when we try and create all of our speed, we go from 0 to 100. This is where we're going tense, where we are becoming tense very early. So we would have a force. So this is pulling downwards, and it is also pulling forwards. So downward and forward, this is a force that is going to be combated with up and back. So if I pull down forward, this is probably going to want to go up and back as a counterbalance to what we actually create there. So when we go into the dynamics now of what is creating that downward force, where are we at, let's say, anatomically with an arm structure, the golf club, etc., so that we can start to learn why, we can start to understand how to fix it, and we can create a plan to get better at it. So right in here, the very first thing that I want everybody to do right here is you need to understand the movements and what you have the ability to do, firstly with the forearms at the top of our swing. So if I go in here at setup and I'm counterbalanced right here, and I work this to the top. From here, this is just forearm movements. I have access to forearm movements that can move this way, and I have access to forearm movements that can go this direction. If I were to add more to it, this would be shoulder movements with forearm rotations, and this would be shoulder movements with forearm rotations that way. So just understanding the directions that we can actually move right there is very important. So when we see the player who is pulling down excessively that is causing this up, back, secondary tilt, early extension that causes all of our contact issues, start line issues, curvature issues, what I would firstly say is, where is my forearm going if I pull down? So if I go up here, and this is on plane like this, typically we see this forearm moves this way. So you would actually start to see, you see my bicep very early right here, and my left palm would be perpendicular to the ground. It would not be this direction. It would be more this direction. This right here, this is a pulling lever right here. That is creating early speed right here. That is where we lose balance. So what I'm going to use as a relationship right here for everybody is I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to connect this to my left bicep. So right here to the head of my bicep. So this guy is going to sit right here. And I'm going to take another piece of tape and I'm going to connect this to the placard of my shirt. Hopefully this will stay on here with how wet it is down here in Florida. So as I work up right here, if I keep my forearm movements this direction, you can see right to here, you still haven't seen the head of my bicep point to the sky. As I work down, now you are just starting to see the head of my bicep right here. Okay, so what ends up happening is in a backswing, either A, we might stay too vertical, we pull down this way. We could get too flat and that makes us pull this direction. So what I would do is a practice right here. If this is here and this is on my bicep, we're going to keep this as one piece to here, work it to the top to where these 2 points are actually working together, and then inside of mirror work right here, I'm going to keep this arm structure the same, and I don't want to see the head of my bicep until I'm right about here. This would be P5, this is P5.5, this is P6. I don't want to see the bicep going into this move where this is turning into a pull down where the bicep is pointed to the sky early, okay? So the first thing is just understanding what it is that we're actually doing. So we can go into forearm movements that can help us combat that. So if we do practice swings right here, this is where I would do a practice swing. Is I would work this up here, head of my bicep at the top is gonna point to there, and I'm gonna keep that in the same position. I'm just gonna feel like I'm pumping this right here. So I'm not changing my arm structure. So this is basically, this would be gravity fed. Just like if I went here, gravity wants to make the golf club fall behind me, unless we inflict a pulling downward forward force that makes the golf club work that direction. So those are our movements and those are our reasons for why people can be in a good setup position, but we get out of balance because of when, where, why, and how we're creating speed too early from the top of our swing. So up in here, if I did a practice swing, this is one of my favorite drills to do, is I'm gonna go up to the top and I'm gonna be as slow as I can in transition, and I might only hit the golf ball here 30 to 40 yards. So I'd be here, feel this stays here. There, I'm gonna keep this the same so you can see where my bicep is. Keep this the same. And then I'm gonna hit one here, keeping my bicep this direction for as long as possible, not letting it pull this way to where then my palm right here is perpendicular to what the ground is. So I'd be in here. And you can see I didn't hit that golf ball very far, and this is because I'm trying to bring awareness to what's actually happening. So now we're going to give you a drill that is going to help you out with this feel, that is going to give us feedback and bring awareness to what we're actually doing. So what I want you to get, go out, grab a balloon, buy one of these. This is going to be about the size of my right hand, so this balloon could fit in my right hand. So from here, I'm going to put this underneath my shirt. It is going to fit right here in my chest cavity. So this would be sitting right in here. Okay, so from here now, I have a relationship that if I go up to the top, firstly, it helps me even with my takeaway. As I get this up here, I haven't touched this balloon yet. As I've worked down to there, I still haven't touched the balloon, and I'm not gonna feel anything on the balloon until I'm at about shaft parallel to the ground, and then this would be where I would hit from. So this is a great drill for anybody, even if all you're doing is creating rehearsals. And that again, that would probably be the very first place that I would start, is I would go here, work it up to the top, keep the lead arm away from the balloon. If you wanted to, you could feel the right elbow and arm, bicep, tricep work towards the balloon, but I'm not gonna get this arm to touch this balloon yet. If I come down here, you can see I've knocked that balloon down my chest now. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit one. So I'm gonna do a couple rehearsals with each of these. So I've got my setup, working it up to the top, delaying the transition, and then this would be my impact feel. So I would be here, work it up, and that would be my feel right there. And we're trying to keep the left arm away from this balloon for as long as possible. So if we do this again, I'm gonna go in here, work it up to the top, lead arm, tricep, bicep doesn't touch that. This club's now here. This is where I would finally start to feel pressure on this balloon. So I'm gonna go slow in the transition. And that would be more of what my look is. And now you can see I'm able to keep the lead hip and the trail shoulder. So do yourself a favor, do a lot of mirror work with this. Grab a balloon, bring awareness to how you're actually going to change this. Don't go out and think, all right, I'm gonna go hit golf balls at full speed, and I'm gonna think about what Trev just said right here with where the bicep and where the forearm is. It's probably not going to be as successful as you would like. Do it slower. Start off by doing rehearsals. Do 10 minutes worth of rehearsals at home. Throw a balloon in there. Get in front of a mirror. Video yourself. This is how you're going to make change. I promise you. This is how I've made the most change successfully in my own golf swing over the past 3 years. It hasn't been from hitting 10,000 golf balls. So if you have any questions, please leave them below. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please click that like button if you did. You can also click that subscribe button for future videos that I will be posting here on YouTube. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. In the link at the bottom as well, I have a free crash course on impact that you can watch. Please click that link, sign up. Thank you again for watching, and if you guys need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out.